I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump. Altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump. Altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump. Altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're tuned in from. We're seeing all the things we've been talking about for the last many months, with the setup coming into fruition now and seeing some of those buy triggers happen in the crypto market beyond just Bitcoin. In fact, we're seeing a major signal right now in Bitcoin dominance breaking down in a very real way. The question here is, are we going to see a bounce in this zone that we're at right now and actually have another rally to the upside? Or are we going to see Bitcoin actually breaking down from here? Sorry, the Bitcoin dominance breaking down from here, getting into where we're really going to start seeing the alt season absolutely rip to the upside. We're about to dive into this because we got key signals. We're seeing Ethereum breaking out. We're seeing Aerodrome making major moves. In fact, there's more news coming out from Coinbase in a few hours. We also see major news coming out and maybe about 30 minutes from now regarding all of these three major crypto bills in the House of Representatives, the Senate, on the floor right now that they kind of got passed over yesterday. Trump got them all together, the 11 votes that were against it, and said, hey, man, we need to really get this wrapped up. So we may be seeing some of the most monumental legislation around crypto coming into fruition here in just a matter of moments. So this might be a major catalyst for the market because we're seeing things so bullish in this market. You're seeing the price above my shoulder. Tau's up at $438. Remember, we started layering back into this at $232. It's now up basically just under 100% from where we started getting back into this. We're also seeing other major news stories across the market right now. But what the most important thing is we're sitting here with the crypto market above the 3.78 trillion mark. And I imagine this is only going to go higher from here. We will have some drawbacks along the way. Right now, we see even on the refresh, we're at 3.79 trillion with some major gainers. We got SPX 6900, one of the top meme coins, up 22%. Bonk up 20%. ENS up 19%, Curve up 17%, Floki 15%, Aerodrome up there at 13% to the upside. Pump also still hanging on with some major gains over the last 24 hours. And Arbitrum, Optimism, ASI, Sonic. Look at how much green is on this board. It is green, da-ba-dee-da-ba-da. Let's get into it because we have been stacking. We even see, most importantly, Ethereum over $3,200. I think we're going to be seeing a $4,000 Ethereum in the very near future. And that's from some major signs we're seeing, not just in the USDT or USD chart. We're seeing Ethereum break out to the upside against Bitcoin as well. You see Ethereum, Bitcoin, we're seeing this. We had the great bottom formation here, breakout beyond this previous range low, held support above it, a flash crash here, bear trap until now. The move to the upside, where we really got bullish on this, is when this price action broke above these previous range highs, showing that a potential major reversal for Ethereum is underway. Because remember, this is no small feat, because when you zoom out on this, you notice that Ethereum has been in about a 987-day downtrend before this started to reverse. So when we zoom in on this, I know there's a lot of charts here. We have a Fibonacci breakdown from this point to here. And this gives us these. Let's go ahead and draw this to show you. We have the price action currently moving right into where about the golden pocket, the next target, right about where the golden pocket is, up here in this 0.29 range, right where we had a line already drawn. But just notice here, even on this fib, this pulled right back into the golden pocket, came back up, broke back above the 382, found support on it, and then has been moving up very beautifully. So I'm looking for this target to be the next target on Ethereum. And this is ETH against Bitcoin, meaning when this moves up, This is giving you more value faster than Bitcoin. You're gaining in value against Bitcoin. This is the true goal in any altcoin that you're holding is, are you outpacing the growth of Bitcoin? Because when we look at ETH against US dollars, we also see the same thing played out. Came down, tapped the golden pocket here that we have drawn. It's not drawn on this chart, but just trust me on that. But then we also see the breakdown from this point all the way. We can actually adjust this now right to there. Boom. We're currently in the middle of Ethereum attacking and breaking, trying to break through this zone right here. This teal line is the golden pocket. As you can see right here, the 0.618, we are in the middle of trying to slice through it. We have a candle through it. This is a 12-hour chart. Let's get down to the 4-hour. We've got candles that have come all the way through it, and we've not done it with authority. And there's a little bit of a hesitation here. Why is this not following through? Because as this is pushing up, there's still a little trepidation around this. And you can tell this because money flow is contracting back towards the zero line. This does not mean it's over. It just means this has highlighted a lack of momentum to continue forward. So we did get this pop to the upside, but the momentum of capital flowing in has pulled back somewhat substantially here, but the RSI is still maintaining a very bullish posture. In fact, we have the RSI, the strength has bounced here at the 51 mark. And when you draw this out like this, notice that this is broken out of this trend, the strength has, and we're getting a lot of volume in here. So I think this is a little bit of chop, a little hesitation, a little bit of, okay, risk, but risk off, certain, but uncertain, because we have those three major bills right now on the horizon. I imagine if they do not get passed, we'll get a little bit of a pullback here. If they do get passed, we'll probably start to make a continuation of this leg up to the next target. And that next target is up here in this 3,500, 3,550 range for Ethereum, which would be fantastic because this would be signaling major moves for the altcoin market as a whole. We've got about 1,000 people in the room right now, and I just want to highlight, we have got some of the signals that have been brewing for months. Some people wonder why things haven't been happening. When the price isn't doing exactly what you want in that moment, then you need to, first off, step outside of the price, being enamored by price action. Look at the underlying data and the potential setups that are basically lining up in favor of not a bias, but a data-driven direction that may persist and push out, and start to show in the price action in the coming hours, days, months, or of course into the years, which is what we're stacking into. And we've been talking about that on the Bitcoin chart, on the Ethereum chart, on many of the top alts, and even some of the memes out there. And those signals that have been lining up are starting to actually confirm. And we've been prepared. We've been preparing you every step of the way. So shout out to everybody here that's in the room. We got about 1,200 people in here now. Shout out to each and every one of you. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. Turn on the notifications. That's what we mean when we say ding the bell. If you're watching on Rumble, make sure you're following the channel. We get about anywhere from a couple hundred sometimes, but to into the 30, 40, 50,000 viewers on Rumble. And it's a brand new account. We started it about about a month ago now, month and a half. But guys, hit that follow button. Make sure you're following along. We are keeping you on the right side of the trend. But we got some major signals I want to run through, and then I want to jump in to a bunch of TA with all of you. We got Bitcoin currently at 118,000, tapping on that line for 119,000. We got the total crypto market cap just under 4 trillion, right at 3.79, $3.8 trillion. And this is the most explosive part of the cycle. I think we're going to be seeing this in the sixes. Hell, maybe even the $7 to $8 trillion mark, which is going to be major gains for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, and for a number of those alts that you guys have been stacking into. And what we're looking at these, we're seeing the data. The data shows we're nowhere near the top, especially looking at this chart right here. What do we see? We see the NUPO, which is the net unrealized profit and loss. What does that mean? Are there a bunch of coins that people are holding in profit? Are there a bunch of coins that people are holding in loss? When you're holding it, it's unrealized, right? So if price is up, you're holding it, you haven't sold the coin, you're sitting in unrealized profit or unrealized loss. In this case, when this blue metric goes higher and higher and higher, this means more and more coins are being held in profit. When this drops, this means less coins are being held in profit. And so what we've seen here in the previous cycles to where we're at right now, This is blue line is where we're at. This is a price action. So ignore the price. Again, let's look at the data. This has not got all the way through this belief and denial zone. This is still relatively low comparatively with where we've seen cycle peaks, whether it's a medium, an internal cycle peak or look at this. Look how high the Nupal got. Here's actual top. Look how high the Nupal got. Here's the top at 19,000, almost 20,000. Look how high the Nupal got. Here's the top here when the market rounded out and we had multi-week bearish divergence into this. And the Nupal came all the way up here, tapping on that door of euphoria and greed. We're nowhere near that. While some of us may feel excited that the market's moving, we have not seen the signs and signals and data points beyond just the prices. Man, price is 119,000. Isn't that a top? 119,000 is high. Stop looking at the price. The data is suggesting we've got quite a ways to go before we tap into that area. Even if we don't get all the way up here and tap into this euphoria greed, I do expect that we're going to at least break these highs on the Nupal and get up here, at least close to this area before we have a market cycle top. Now, that does not mean we can't have a small correction along the way. In fact, I've been talking about that because when we look at Bitcoin with where it's at right now, there's a very realistic opportunity, a bullish opportunity for price action to crash here. Oh my God, it's crashing. This is not a crash. To have price pull back from a major zone that it broke out of and come back and confirm that move by having the bulls defend somewhere in this area, whether it's 113, whether it's 112, whether it's all the way down here to 110 or 109, this all would be overwhelmingly incredible bullish structure maintained by doing so. What I mean by that is if this price action rolls over like this and taps into here, we get a bit of a move and then have that next breakout, this would be incredibly bullish. So do not get emotionally charged up and frustrated if that were to happen. This is looking like an incredible bullish setup. And if we know that, if we're aware that this price action could come back to here, then we can also be set up for buys or set up to get the hell outside and stop being emotionally charged by the chart because we don't have the tools in those emotional moments. You've got to know yourself in these markets because this moving down is going to wreck a lot of people. When price is much higher, they're going to be like, I cannot believe I sold on this bullish pullback. Otherwise, you set in some limit orders, you take some opportunities, take some shots with some stop limit orders, make sure you don't get, get wrecked if this does break down, because that is also a possibility. I put it on a much lower tier possibility, much lower probability, but the zone coming down anywhere in here would make sense because we also have that CME futures gap, which is also sitting right there at 115 down to about 114.3. This zone, this makes sense for price to come back here. Now, given it's not guaranteed that it will, I'm just saying, as excited as we are at 119,000, be prepared for the price action to make that swing to the downside if it does, and be ready and waiting there. Like one of those trapdoor spiders that's sitting there waiting for the prey to come by. Unfortunately, the prey is going to be the scared little pansies that, oh my God, and they sell here rather than having taken profits here and then add back to their positions here. We want to be smart here, everybody, because we got some major signals. And yet again, I want to reemphasize, as bullish as Bitcoin is set up right now, we're seeing signs and signals for the altcoin market to do some major things. Bitcoin dominance breaking down in a real way, but it's not over yet. We're currently only coming into a trend line that has been around all the way since back here in January of 2024. Support, 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 kind of a rejection zone, support, support. So this is nice, but this is not alt season. This is just kind of, we're putting some gas in the car. The car might go on the trip. If the Bitcoin dominance breaks down from here into this 62, 62.3, 62.2 zone, I expect that there will be a little bit of a bounce, meaning like this, a little bit of a bounce. And if this does reverse and come back down, this will be the most life-changing money you will make, and probably one of the last opportunities in the altcoin cycle, as the world is just now really getting instituted with integrations of blockchain, digital technology into this Web3 blockchain component. This world is changing. And so what we're seeing here with this opportunity, if this takes place, you need to be positioned before this happens. You're going to have to take some shots. Some of the coins you hold are going to fail. They're going to go to zero. You're going to lose money. Some of the coins you get allocated into are going to be 10x, 30x, 50x, 100x. But this is why if you're in altcoins, you need to take a concerted effort at what is the data, what is the market cap, what's the circulating supply, what type of team do they have around them, how likely is it that they're going to be included in the corporate focus, the corporate lens, especially on today when we have all three of these major pieces of legislation potentially getting pushed through and getting approved during crypto week here in the US. While this is the forefront and center of global finance, and now in our government body discussing this in a major way, and it's talking about the next evolution and revolution, not only in global finance, but technology. And some, not all, some of the altcoins you hold are going to be very much part of that. I think Chainlink is going to be very tied into that. I think Ondo is going to be part of that because of all the RWA nature that they got. I think Chainlink, of course, as I said, Ethereum is overwhelmingly a part of all the bills that are passing today because of the Stablecoin Act with the Genius Act. We also got other things like, the base ecosystem, what's going on with Solana. The market is heating up in such a real way, and all these signs and signals have been felt slow. But when you think about the pace of government, you think about how slow things tend to move and how fast things have moved in the last 4 months. It is incredible the speed, the rate of change we're seeing of the blockchain ecosystem getting, I don't want to say welcomed, but getting ushered in to the regulatory stage that real big money institution, financial service providers, banks, governments, ultra high net worth people. This is that last barrier before you see the dam break and all these assets that you're holding absolutely moonshotting to the upside and having some swings along the way. Now, again, some of those assets you're holding are going to fail because, everybody thinks XRP is getting integrated into global banking, and it might not. Everybody thinks Chainlink, it might not. There is always a question based on which regulators, how things are regulated, and which ones are basically dubbed, knighted, also by what BlackRock picks, what Wells Fargo picks, what JP Morgan picks, what Visa, MasterCard pick, what happens with the NASDAQ and the S&P 500, tokenized assets. Is it going to be primarily ushered into one chain and then that is utilized across multiple platforms? Is it going to be every different exchange is going to have their own mechanism for tokenizing stocks? There's so much at play here. What I do know is there's going to be a lot of capital coming into crypto. It might be somewhat diversified and there's going to be some kingmakers out there. So make sure you're choosing wisely and be able to push in more heavily to the ones that are winners and be able to cut your losses, because that's going to be key here as this market heats up. But we got some major things going on because we also see $40 million worth of ETH shorts have been liquidated in the last 60 minutes. This was about an hour ago. So $40 million. People are shorting. In fact, we're at record levels of shorts just the other day. And now what are we seeing? We're seeing price action push to the upside. Let that be a metric. When everybody's betting on something, most people are dumb. Unfortunately, that's just the case. Think about it. The upper 50% of people are on the smarter side. The lower 50% are on the dumber side. And I don't mean this in a mean way. I mean this more intelligent, less intelligent. How about we say that? Just like having doctors. About 50% of the doctors you've gone to have been in the bottom of their class. Understand that. Now, when you look at markets, the majority of people are wrong. The majority of people are misinformed and they're very emotional. So when you see metrics like this and you see this data, $40 million worth of ETH shorts liquidated, meaning the price pushed up while these guys were betting to the downside. And this is all at the same time when we're looking at ETH, and it has broken out of this accumulation structure into a very bullish structure on the heels, on the horizon of some of the most impactful legislation that's going to be super supportive of an ETH ecosystem, especially considering stablecoins. Why the hell would people be shorting when you're seeing this data beyond just being, oh, the price is this? Who cares about the price? Look at the data. And I've been screaming this to you all for the last 2.5, 3 years on this channel, and longer than that on Discover Crypto and Crypto Jeb and my own channel, all the different places I've been. Look at the data. The data will paint the clearer picture. The price is just the emotional response of the speculators that are out there. ETH pushing higher. Looking at the total 3 also, look at this. Total 3 pushing higher. This is everything outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Look at this descending. Oh my God, it's over for altcoins. And then I talked about it in the zone. Watch this area when it breaks out. Not only did it break out, it ran by this previous range high. And now look at this, ran by this previous range high. The altcoin market is starting. I can't say the alt season has started, but the altcoin market is heating up. We're getting a lot of focus, not just on Bitcoin now, but on the altcoin market as the technological innovation space of this next decade and beyond, because everything that's digital in this world is going to be integrated onto blockchain. It's going to be utilizing NFTs. It's going to be utilizing the different blockchain rails from Cardano to Tron to Ethereum to Avalanche to bittensor. And look at that, bittensor also in the AI ecosystem. So an infrastructure play in the AI ecosystem. We're seeing the world go into an ultimate technological revolution that is changing not only things in the digital space, but also everything we're seeing in the real world ecosystem as well. Commerce, transaction, trade, verification, the term trustless, which the world is not yet comfortable with. They think, well, I don't trust that. Well, here's the deal with trustless systems. Blockchain, Bitcoin, layer 1, altcoins, layer 2s. What we're seeing, the trustless mechanism is collapsing this majorly spread out world that is ultimately the most disconnected we've ever been, although we have the digital technology to be the most connected we've ever been. But this is why you have keyboard warriors that are just straight up assholes, because they're not your neighbor. They know you can't do anything to them. But now we're getting into the blockchain era, whether it's money and transaction and commerce and trade, or I need to prove that I have the certification for this, or I need to prove that this is a one of one. I need to prove that this document is real. I need to prove that this wasn't created or augmented by AI. Blockchain is collapsing things back down into trustlessness, meaning positively, you don't need to trust this person you don't know. The technology has created a mechanism that is provable trust, that you don't need to trust this stranger. That's what this is all about. We're collapsing the world through technology back into the trust that we had in a tribal ecosystem. We all know, you've gone to a festival, you've gone to a concert. What do you see? The disrespect of humanity and the sadness of humanity everywhere, where there's just trash and cups and just all this nonsense just thrown on the ground. I guarantee you at least 99% of those people, when they go to their friends and family's barbecue, they don't throw their plate on the ground. They don't throw their cup on the ground. Why? Major festivals, major concerts, a lot of people, you have diffusion of responsibility because there's a huge amount of people that there's no accountability. Well, when you get back into the tribal nature, when you get back into being at a friend or family member's house, there's accountability because you're the one that left that trash. Why would you disrespect me? So it comes back to respect. It comes back to accountability. Blockchain collapses this massively spread out world back into, hey, accountability, and you don't need to trust anybody because it's all tracked and transacted here. That's why this is so important. So let's get back in, because we got a lot of things. We got some charts. We're going to be diving in to some TA. We're going to make sure we catch that vote that's coming up here. It should be happening anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes. But we got some major things. I mean, total 3 breaking out. Look at this. Others, everything outside of the top 10 breaking out. I mean, this is just monstrous. The money flow has come back a bit, contracted. So this means we may have a little bit of a consolidation here for a second, unless something like this beautiful gold swan happens here in the matter of minutes. If all 3 of these bills pass in a matter of minutes, when this vote happens, then this money flow might just explode right back to the upside. But we got some other things to look at as well. We had the East shorts. Okay, those got wiped out. But then we also see this. Check it out. Bitcoin bull only now kicking off. This is the bull market that we've really been waiting on. That parabolic bull market is kicking off right now. We could see it in the charts, and I'm going to explain why to you. The 4-year cycle, is it still in effect? Or is it different? Because think, we got the Fed rates starting maybe in just about 2 weeks. maybe in September, but we know it's going to be happening. The money printer is heating up. In fact, we have new bills now that just substantiated that more money needs to be printed. There's more debt that just got added, about $4 to $5 trillion. And we're already seeing money printing speeding up in China. Another $700 billion was printed overnight yesterday. We also see these going on next year. We also see corporations stacking. We also see government stacking and more lining up to stack. I mean, and what do we see? Well, let's look at the MACD here. Look at this, flipping back bullish, right? Just like we saw right here. You can see this. Look at this. This is the bottom of the market. Massive move to the upside. This was right here on this dip right here before. This was the Japanese yen carry trade. And then we had that move from about $48,000 up to $109,000. This just flipped green again right here while we're over $100,000. The Z-score also right here, MVRV Z-score is back above 1. Well, what does this mean? The Z-score must close above 1 to verify the signal. But this, along with the LMACD crossover, looks extremely bullish. The aggregated transaction volume is above 1 for the first time this cycle, indicating full bull. So all of this move right here, we haven't been in full bull. In fact, I see that on this chart right, where's it at? This chart right here, the reserve risk. Although we've moved from $15,000 all the way up to $123,000, the reserve risk chart, the on-chain data, which basically we can see this, it's to visualize the confidence among long-term Bitcoin holders relative to the price of Bitcoin at any given time. Basically looking at the HODL bank, what's going on, the risk reward. Are you in an asymmetric, basically more reward to risk, or is it very risky and less reward? This has been in the asymmetric great buy opportunity all the way from 15,000 all the way up to 123,000. And we're only now just about to peak out of this, meaning there's still a great buy opportunity here based on this risk model looking at on-chain data. This is incredible, everybody, incredible. And then we see the momentum in Bitcoin accumulation remaining strong. Monday saw one of the largest daily inflows of the US spot Bitcoin ETFs in the past 3 months. But what stands out is Tuesday's response. Institutions didn't flinch. They doubled down, adding another 3.4 thousand Bitcoin. Outflow remained near zero. People are stacking in. The world is waking up. And then we got this right here. This is, I don't want to play this because essentially he's talking about he really thinks that they have enough votes on the re-vote today to get these bills passed. This is phenomenal. This is a Genius Act, the Clarity Act, all these things. And understand these bills and acts don't just affect stablecoins. They affect Ethereum because stablecoins are primarily on Ethereum, but also things like Chainlink. Chainlink, here, Oracle and interoperability mentioned 14 times in the Clarity Act. What does Link do? Oracle of data and interoperability, including some of the things like they've instituted, like proof of reserves, which for stablecoins, which are going to have to buy treasuries as backing, there's going to need to be a blockchain mechanism for proof of reserves. I think Chainlink stands to see a massive boom out of these bills. And then we got here from AIXBT, an AI agent says market still prices Link as a DeFi oracle while they're building the rails for state-level tokenization. You are not bullish enough on Chainlink. We got MasterCard's 3 billion users. We got Swift settlement and system. We also got the Tokenized in America initiative. The gap between perception and reality is getting absurd. So when we come over here and we look at Chainlink, what do we see? We see a massive opportunity when we zoom out on the weekly chart with this massive symmetrical triangle that the price action, look at this, just getting pinched into, and it is broken out. We got a beautiful W formation. The money flow is curved back around, coming back towards the zero line. The RSI is looking like it's trying to make moves and break back above the 50 line, which it has. Here's the 50 line right here, option J. So we got the strength back in the bullish territory. The money flow is coming back towards the bullish territory. We've broken out of a multi-year downtrend that has been all the way back here since 2021. And we have legislation that is supporting almost making it law to need to use something like Chainlink. Guys, we are not bullish enough on what is about to happen in this market. Look at the volume here. Holy moly. RSI looking pretty strong. We have some bearish divergence right here. RSI, the highs are lower, 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 lower. And up here on the price action, the highs are higher, higher, higher. See how these are higher? The strength is lower. There's a little bit of bearish divergence here, but we have money flow coming in and the potential of these bills passing. So all of this can be disregarded based on what happens with these bills. If this does have a pullback, we know where to look. I would look for this to come back into this zone about 1556. If this loses, we're going to be looking back down here in the 13s, high 13s. Guys, we're making the moves. Aerodrome also making monster moves to the upside. And look at this. We drew this on this inverted head and shoulders, the potential reversal. We drew this boom. And what do we see? Price moved up. We did get the swing low. Bear trap went a little bit deeper than expected, but then slingshot to the upside. And from what I understand, there's also some potential news coming out from Coinbase. Let me see. Coinbase made mention earlier today, about 2 hours ago, this right here. This is base. This will make sense in a few hours. A new day one. Coinbase also pushed this. Remember, Aerodrome is the DEX of base. Remember how much different the financialization of Bitcoin wrapped Bitcoin on base, all being transacted through Aerodrome. Coinbase integrating the base ecosystem onto the main Coinbase platform. Aerodrome being the DEX. Guys, I mean, there's some major things happening here that we need to be paying attention to, because it's not just that. We got some other things as well. The PPI, Producers Price Index, falls to 2.3, below expectation, further signaling we're not having more inflation fears in the near term. Guys, we're getting all the signs and signals. In addition to that, we got 125 public companies, meaning companies that trade on the stock market, that are stacking into Bitcoin. This is corporate adoption at the best level. And we got the new pool still, it's not overheated yet. We've also got this data right here, the reserve risk, showing we're still in a very asymmetric opportunity zone. We've also got the active address sentiment indicator. Let's just look at the peaks here. The peaks of this orange area. The peak here, look, there's a little bit of a sell-off. The peak here, look, there's a little bit of a sell-off. The peak here, right here, oh, the price action continued up. And yet again, right here, peak here, price a little bit of a sell-off. We have very low activity for how high the price is right now. There's no extreme hope. There's no extreme fear. This is looking healthy as it can be. And then yet again, we do not have these massive peaks of value days destroyed, AKA a huge number of tokens being sold, including a huge number of tokens that are being held for a long time. So when you see this flashing red, this kind of forecasted right here before the top, this forecasted coming into the top. This was right at the top, right at the top. We're nowhere near that. We are not near the top yet. We're going to see some downside price action. Those are buying opportunities. We do not have the data that's suggesting we're near top. In fact, if we moonshot straight from here, straight up from here, we would, and we can see this on tops has hit this upper bound in every cycle. Now, as the price action moves to the upside, what do we see? We see this metric also curves to the upside. Even here, look, this parabolic move on price action, but this slowly starts to arc up. If we went straight up in one candle right now, that top would be about $179,000. But understand, as the price action curves and makes this parabolic move to the upside, this target, this upper bound, this heavily overvalued zone is going to curve up as well. And this gets back to that chart that I've been sharing with you all on my page. Make sure you're giving me a follow right here at Kelly Kellum. I'll share this for you. This is just a great metric you should all be paying attention to. Just an outline of where I think this market's going to go. Hit that subscribe. Retweet this out, but these are the targets I'm looking at. The low side, and I think this is very actually unlikely, would be as if we topped out at $158,000. I'm getting more and more inclined to feel like we're going to be somewhere in the middle of this zone, somewhere in the 180 to 250 range in this zone here. for a number of reasons. There's Fibonacci extensions that go there. There's a never-ending, persistent, and only increasing buying pressure from corporations and governments. There's better legislation getting passed. It seems like every week. We are going to see higher prices. The question is, do you have the courage to stack? Do you have the courage to hold on dips, realizing that Bitcoin is volatile, but all it's doing in that volatility is shaking out people that don't understand these moves from $79,000 down to $40,000. People got out there because they thought it was dead. And it went from 48,000. Now we're up here in the $120,000 range. Let's look at this. We're at about $119,000, $108,000. God. And people sold. People sold down here at 48,000. And then pushed up. Oh, this is the top. They sold here at 74. And then it's stair-stepping. Take advantage of these opportunities and hold long-term for Bitcoin. Now on the altcoins, yeah, we're getting some swings. Bittensor Tau, I think we're going to be seeing all-time highs in the 5 figures. Definitely 4 figures, which would be thousands, right? This cycle. But remember, this is scarce, just like Bitcoin, 21 million tokens, and all the right players lined up. We also got Solana starting to make the headway. Look at this, breaking out of this descending broadening wedge, trying to tackle this 175 region, multi-year trend line back to 2021. If this can clear this, we're going to be watching for a little bit of chop zone here just below 200, but really watching the $220 level. If this gets rejected, great. We got a great level to watch here back at the 160. We also got Ondo making some moves, massive swing to the upside. Look at this, beautiful V-shaped recovery, boom, back up. Now it cleared this high, looking very strong. If we look at this with the other data, money flow up big. Okay, pushing up. We're watching this zone right in here that we've had here for quite some time. This is going to be the zone. Once we clear that, we're watching for $1.24. Once we clear that, guys, we're getting in the onward and upward movement. MORPHO making some major swings to the upside. Massive influx of capital here. Strength on the RSI looking super strong. If we got a little pullback, that'd be fantastic. Great buying opportunity. We're seeing this kind of go across the board. You don't sell, you take loans out on it, says Rhonda Franco. Well, everybody's got to make their own decisions. And you got to do it in a way that you don't get liquidated. Because remember, if you're taking a loan out against your asset, especially if you're doing it on a third party like Nexo or some of these others, then there's a loan to value ratio. And if you go below that, it starts liquidating the collateral that you put up. Now, you might have other crypto that you bought with that loan, but don't put yourself in a position where you're getting liquidated. Be very smart and calculated here, because this is the biggest opportunity of our lives. Do not get greedy. Be smart and calculated. But we're also seeing, look at this, BNB breaking out to the upside. It's kind of being held in this zone that it's been in for quite some time. But once this clears back above 720, 730, I think there's going to be some major moves to the upside. My dog is laying on her back in her kennel, just legs in the air. I love it. I love to see it. Let's look at Dog. Dog making some major moves to the upside. Okay. We got major moves to the upside measured from the bottom here, 475% up. We had a descending broadening wedge here, and then this move up into that Kraken listing. So now you can buy Dog on Kraken, tier 1 exchange. You can also get it on Mexi and LBank and CoinW. If you want to know where to get it, any coin, you just come up here on CoinMarketCap, type in the ticker, pull it up. Dog, yes, it is on Bitcoin. So why did that not pull it up? There we go. And then you come right here to markets, and you can see, you can buy it on BitGet, Mexi, Gate, BingX, Kraken, Bitmart, LBank, XT, Kraken. You can see all the different places you can get it. But when we're looking at it right now, people are worried because it's not just moonshotting from here. These coins, when they move major in very short periods of time. This period right here, this was, let's see, to that top, 10 days. And what was that move? In 10 days, that made 119% move. And then right here, not too many days, that was 5 days, 97% move. So when you're getting these moves, they are very fast, especially on these smaller market cap coins. But we're sitting right here at the kind of a threshold. If this does reject, okay, great. We got a great load up zone right here, which not only is horizontal, but also this descending previous resistance that's now support. I'd be really stacking in here at about 3742, this zone. But if this can clear this shelf right here and push back up, then I think we're going to be tackling up here to about 5.2, then up here about 5.7, and then ultimately this is the next target we're really watching, 6.257, and then ultimately up here we're looking at that 10-cent mark. This will be when we hit about $1 billion market cap, and then I mean, guys, we're looking for that. I mean, that's not 10 cents, sorry, 1 cent mark, and then that next level up is going to be up here at about 3.5 cents. And beyond. This is based on fib extensions, but remember, it's on the biggest chain. But we got other things making moves as well. Injective breaking out of the downtrend. Beautiful consolidation into the zone breakout here. Now let's continue on. Let's go over and look, see if there's any update. Is there any update on the house? Let's see. No, that's not what we want to see. We want to see
One of them in American history.
We want to see, is there any update on the Genius Act? Let's see. Major still will not vote for this. Let's see, latest. I want to see if this stuff gets passed. You know, a good one to follow is Bitcoin laws. Bitcoin laws, they post this stuff as it's coming out, but there's nothing yet. So I know sometimes they take some time to get the votes out, but we'll be tracking it with you guys. I love you guys. I mean, this is the most exciting part of the market. You're looking over my shoulder, link at $16. I can't wait till we're seeing that at 160, $300, Bitcoin up at 150, 170, $200,000, Ethereum back above 4,500, 4,700, up into the $7,000, $8,000 range. You guys think prices are high right now? This is just when the next phase of this parabolic run happens. If you're new to crypto, just tune in here on BitLab Academy. I'm going to educate you because we're seeing all the signs and signals that have front ran every parabola, meaning massive exponential movement in price action. It's all set up into right now. There's much higher prices coming. I mean, the data is there. The money flow is there. The capital interest is there. The corporate stacking is there. Government regulation, empowering and opening the door to more money is here. The support, this is an asymmetric opportunity, meaning there is more reward than risk. Stack in like your future depends on it, because it does. Make sure you follow us. We'll keep you on the right side of the trend. That's all I got for you today, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful day. We've got an incredible future ahead of us. I'm going to shoot you over to Blockchain Basement now. I love you and appreciate you. No super chat, so all go. All bricked up. Let's get it. Adios, muchachos.